Child calls black nanny mommy in front of guests. Then a stranger walked in and revealed the truth. Before we dive into this story, hit the comments and tell us your city or country. Let's see how far this story reaches. If you like the video, please subscribe. The guests froze. A hush fell over the living room as the little girl pointed at the black woman in the corner and said, "Mommy?" The host laughed nervously. "She means her nanny," she explained, brushing it off like nothing. But the child clung tighter. Something wasn't right. The woman's eyes shimmered with tears she tried to hide. Minutes later, the doorbell rang. A man stepped inside holding a single document, and what he revealed would turn the entire gathering upside down. What truth had they been hiding? And why had this woman stayed silent for so long? Watch until the end. It was a bright Saturday afternoon in the suburbs. White picket fences catered hors d'oeuvres, and polite laughter filled the backyard of the Sanders family home. Among the crowd was Grace, a black woman in her late 30s, quietly keeping an eye on 6-year-old Lily, the Sanders' daughter. To the guests, she was the nanny, just the help. She stayed on the sidelines, blending into the background. But Grace didn't mind the silence. She'd been with Lily since birth and knew her allergies, her bedtime songs, and even the way she liked her sandwiches cut. She loved her like her own, because, in a way, she was. The guests made small talk about property values and private schools. No one noticed Grace until Lily ran across the room, grabbed her leg, and called her mommy. A silence fell, then a nervous laugh. But Lily wasn't joking. She meant every word. And everything was about to unravel. Mrs. Sanders chuckled uncomfortably. "Oh, she's always saying silly things. Grace is like family, you know how kids are." Some of the guests nodded. Others glanced at Grace with wide eyes, unsure whether to laugh or question it. Grace didn't speak. Her lips pressed into a soft line. She bent down, gently kissed Lily's forehead, and said, "Go finish your juice, sweetheart." But her hands trembled. Inside, her chest was tightening. How long could she live like this, being nearby but never acknowledged? Being erased while watching her daughter grow up under someone else's name? Grace had once trusted the Sanders. Years ago, in a moment of desperation and fear, she had made a choice. She was young, poor, and alone. She had agreed to something that seemed unthinkable now, signing over temporary guardianship while she got back on her feet. But the years passed, and the paperwork never came back. She was told her rights had been taken away, but deep down, she knew something didn't add up. Then the doorbell rang. A tall man in a worn blazer stepped inside, holding a folder. His voice was steady. "I'm looking for Grace Oduro." All eyes turned. The air went still. The stranger introduced himself as a legal advocate. "I believe there's been a misrepresentation regarding a child in this home," he said. And with that, he opened the folder and dropped a document on the table that would change everything. It was Lily's original birth certificate, and on it, bold and unmistakable, was the name Grace Oduro. Mother, no hyphen, no asterisk, no guardian of, just mother. Gasps filled the room. Mr. Sanders stood frozen. Mrs. Sanders stuttered. This can't be right." But it was. The advocate calmly explained that not only was the guardianship improperly filed, but it had also long expired. What the Sanders had done bordered on fraud, and they knew it. Grace stood tall, her voice finally steady. "I didn't lose my child, I was robbed." Lily reached for her hand. This time Grace didn't let go. In one moment, she had gone from invisible to undeniable. And there was no turning back. Grace left that house not as the nanny, but as Lily's rightful mother. The court later ruled in her favor. The Sanders' influence couldn't hide what they'd done. Grace had been silent for years but was not weak. She fought with quiet strength and finally reclaimed what was always hers. She and Lily now live in a modest apartment filled with love, not secrets. Grace tells her daughter the truth, not the lies others tried to bury. This story is a reminder. Silence is not surrender, and motherhood is not defined by wealth, race, or power. It's determined by love. How many families are walking around, broken by systems that were never built for them? Comment below where you're watching from, and share if the story moved you. Because somewhere, someone else is still waiting to be seen. Take care.